Hey there, friends. Welcome back to the Inside Delirium podcast. I'm your host, Tim Harrington. Today's date, April 11th, 2020. Episode number 7. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Mike Hendrix. Mike Hendrix has been pretty intrigued with the space exploration industry, more specifically, SpaceX. We're going to dive into that here in a bit, but first let's bring Mike on and kind of give him an introduction and go over some current events regarding COVID-19. Mike, how's it going, bud?
Doing well. How are you doing, good sir?
Oh, not too bad. Another day off, dude. Fucking, what is it? My 27th day off from work?
Yeah, I know you're going for a record. I know that.
Shit.
Yeah,
Nah, just trying to avoid the madness, dude. Fucking people are insane out there. I'm trying not to be outside and, do much shopping and shit, but,
yeah,
sometimes
I'm in the
it's kind
same.
of hard to avoid.
With my daughter, I have to go to the store once a week to make sure that we're stocked up on essential stuff, and so it's one of those where, for me, yeah, I have to go once a week, and I try not to take my daughter, but it's unavoidable sometimes.
Yeah. It's how it goes. You gotta just kind of adapt to it. And, um, no, I actually went shopping for food today the first time in, I'd say about 3 weeks, dude. And it actually wasn't that bad. Um, I try to avoid the big chains, fucking Walmart, Target, Fred Meyer, and all that. I just went to some local grocery stores, but it wasn't too bad. There are some people that are, kind of handling things a little bit better than some, but I don't know. You still see people kind of paranoid and freaked out, and yeah, I just try and avoid it.
Yeah, I noticed that though, but one of those things where I'm living now in Spokane, I have a courtyard out my back door,
Oh yeah,
and there's a few ladies that live out there, and their houses are out there, and kind of like a multi-house duplex type
right.
thing where everybody's got their houses. But the thing is that we sit out there and BS, and it's normal. It's like it's a good thing. It feels normal. We're ultimately separated. The separation deal,
Right.
and we're more than 6 feet apart. All three ladies, like when I was standing out here talking today, and it was just so good to be able to talk to a person normally. But when I go to the store, everybody's all weird.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? They're all freaked out for some weird reason,
Well, it
and it's
seems like
like
they're on fucking edge, man, and
it is. It is
you know,
exactly right. And uh, hey, I feel like everybody's looking at me weird because I'm not wearing a mask or something. And
yeah,
it's
that was
like,
my biggest thing. Yeah, it's like, there's a lot more people wearing masks and stuff, and if you're not one of them, they start to look at you a little bit weird.
well, I'm one of those people where I haven't gone out of my house since they recommended, you know, the the masks deal,
Yeah.
and I was I've been in my house for a week. And they said middle through the week you probably ought to wear a mask outside. Well, I haven't been outside yet, so and everybody looks at me weird, and it's one of those things where I'm not sure if this country is going to be it's going to change a lot after all of this. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
It's going to change massively in the fact of there's some people saying that we might not shake hands anymore, or uh, the fact that like crowded baseball games might not happen anymore.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
who was I listening to? It was I think I stumbled upon a article and they were talking about introducing new ways like the handshaking thing, like that's going to be like an obsolete thing, and um, it's what's so fucking weird about this is it wasn't expected, man. It's like just fucking out of nowhere, totally different outlook on life, and um, some good things might come out of it. I mean, we're going to start to be, I guess, maybe a little bit more healthier. I don't know, but something good has to come out of it. Um, I don't know. It does fucking suck. My things I like to be in the mountains, dude. I like to fish and all that, and um,
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
shitty part.
They cut. I don't honestly don't know why they're cutting off people from going into the mountains and fishing and hunting and stuff, because it's like usually you're out there by yourself.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, um, it's one of those where I was talking with a lady who was a United States Marine, and she was born like in 1941, 80 years old or almost 80 years old,
Hmm.
and she's like, she goes, "Yep, this kind of thing happens about once every 100 years," and she was quite actually calm about it, even though she's diabetic and highly susceptible,
Right.
But you know,
I guess
she,
I was kind of thinking about that too. Like, it seemed like I don't know. You're in your early 30s. I'm in my early 30s. Um, I don't know. It kind of seems we haven't faced anything so dramatic as to like a World War or Vietnam or a Spanish flu.
right, right.
So I kind of felt like we were somewhat due for it. Um, and Yeah, it's here now. We're fucking living it.
Oh,
Um,
exactly, exactly. Um, yeah, it's kind of one of those things where society tends to suffer through comfort. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
if society doesn't know adversities, I mean, real problems,
right.
then they tend to get lax and they tend to get weak,
Yeah,
and society won't want to survive. Because they just don't want to.
it's a great wake up call for something. I mean,
Exactly.
for me, like it's like taking things for granted. Like I can't tell you how awesome to be at a fucking bar right now. It's Saturday night, dude. Um,
Yep.
can't do that. You know.
Nope. Exactly. I've heard that alcohol sales around the world has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely gone nuts. And once my daughter goes to bed, I know that she's going to sleep through the night, and that's her habit. She 99.9% of the time will sleep from 8 p.m. She'll go to bed. She'll fall asleep anywhere from 8:30 till 9:30,
Right.
and she'll sleep until morning. And it's going to be an early morning for me, and that's the way it is every day. But
Yeah.
um, I know that once she passes out, I'm able to drink some beers and
Right.
kick back on the internet. And what I've been doing in my spare time, wholeheartedly, is been watching old baseball games. Old, like, they're on YouTube. You can watch them, and it's absolutely great. The Major League Baseball channel, they've been live streaming baseball games, and it's one of those where that's kind of where I find my solace, because it's springtime. It's kind of, we're all stuck inside, no real baseball games going on, and
Yeah.
springtime says to me, you're gonna have a beer in the evening and watch a baseball game,
Oh, for sure.
and so
Yeah.
it kind of brings me back to home. It brings it back to a little bit more normal. But you just
I think it's kind of cool to do that because it's you're still. I mean, technology's awesome. Do we have that capability and watching reruns and stuff. Even if you have to like kind of fake it, like
Well,
it's
yeah,
like
it's faking it to an extent, but it's still a game I've never seen,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
you don't know what's going to happen. It's more like a movie than a live baseball game, but
Yeah.
ultimately, yeah,
Right,
no,
for sure.
exactly. It's still faking it a little bit. I agree.
I tell you what I've been doing. Um, I've been kind of jumping on SoundCloud a bit, because I got my podcast going and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
So I've been checking out some SoundCloud and stuff, and I've been kind of into some like new music, just kind of something new. Um, been kind of into this like electronic EDM, some dubstep uh, kind of sound. I stumbled upon this one, Detested Corn.
oh yeah,
Awesome shit, dude. Yeah, fucking headbangers, badass track, end game. Um, but what really got me is for me, I love when an artist is kind of diverse with their sound, their material. They could
yeah.
have like a full album, and it doesn't exactly sound the same. All the songs are different and stuff, and that's kind of what really caught me.
I agree. I
Uh,
agree. I write EDM and I write rock music. As you know, we played in a band together many years,
oh yeah,
and yeah, no, exactly. I'm all about the diverse music. So
yeah. That's kind of what caught me. I didn't really understand that really when I was younger, but as you go and appreciate an actual full album or just a collection of songs from one artist, and it's not exactly the same. Every song is different. And I think that's kind of key in any kind of genre. just change it up a little bit. Just kind of evolve into your own sound, you know.
Yes, I agree. And that's part of it. I love musicians that can play multiple instruments and kind of get their feeling out of it. I think John Lennon said, I'm an artist. You give me a fucking tuba and I'll get something out of it. I think that's a
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, I mean, straight up, that's where it's at for me. No, that's you know, I've I'm a jack of all trades and I'm not very good at everything, but I can make something happen.
Well, I think that's kind of what's good about just being an all around musician. Like I remember because I started off with bass, that, and like started jumping on like acoustic guitar, and um, obviously it wasn't that good, but I was still kind of understanding how it works and whatever you create, even if it sounds somewhat amateur, it's kind of a new sound, and
Oh, exactly,
so you kind of
exactly.
kind of have to evolve in that. Uh, but let's see, I kind of want to get a hold of him, and kind of get him on a podcast. He's got this hashtag unknown but greats. Um,
Deal.
that's kind of what kind of caught my eye. I'm gonna try and get him on the podcast and just kind of shoot the shit for a little bit and see what this guy's all about. But yeah, detested corn. I've been blowing up his SoundCloud and stuff.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
sounds
put a
great.
link in the description. You guys check out his SoundCloud and stuff.
All right.
But yeah, I've been thinking about creating some music too. It's fucking hard these days, man. Fucking, you got so many elements you got to kind of be a part of. You got to have jam space. You got to have musicians. You got to have the fucking time for one.
Schedules. Yeah, exactly. Schedules is the hardest part.
Yeah,
Just trying to get everybody on the same page at the same time, and
yeah,
yeah.
that's how it goes. Um, well, let's see. Let's kind of go into the COVID bullshit here. Let's kind of see what's going on in the news here as far as new shit. In my last episode, I kind of went over some numbers as far as the confirmed cases and stuff. I haven't really checked out till now. Um, let's see. I think this was updated at 12 o'clock today. Oh, by the way, I've been really using this awesome app, Smart News. Uh,
Yeah.
oh, it's fucking awesome, dude. It has all kinds of articles and stuff. And you can kind of have your own feed how you want it. Like if you just want to have just politics, you can have it. But anyways, I've been kind of checking that out. Kind of been
Okay.
my source. Let's see. This is globally. Globally, 1,771,514 confirmed cases. Deaths were at 108,000. Like I said before, man, one thing I like to look at more is the recoveries. Just kind of like a boost of morale, just seeing that number go
Oh,
up.
exactly. Exactly.
Let's see, in the recoveries as of today, 402,110. And I think these numbers are projected or kind of collected over since January 22nd.
Right.
Um, I don't
Like
know.
I said, it's one of those things where they've been saying that, and like I said, this is my opinion. I'm not a doctor or
Mhm.
anything, but for me, it stands for. They say that this has been around a long time before even this whole pandemic,
That's what I've been hearing.
and that some people might have gotten it before and had natural antibodies to it.
Well, you got sick earlier. I remember you telling me about that. When was that? Back in
Ooh,
late February?
the late February, early March, or yeah, March, I think, early March.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I got sick, and it was like the worst flu I ever had. My daughter got sick, and she was just kind of like a drone for a couple of days. We were just pretty much forcing her to try and drink some water, and we were making sure we had enough medicine in her to not have a with her fever to keep her fever down. But
Right.
yeah, it was an incredibly bad flu, but ultimately, she tested positive for the flu, so that's what we thought it was.
Yeah.
And but we've never been tested for
Yeah.
the coronavirus or whatever. So
Yeah. No, they're saying this because shit goes back all the way to late November. It's um no, it's It's possible. I think it is.
Oh yeah, yep.
You know, we just don't know. I mean, like, it's just so kind of scrambled since the fucking beginning, um, and it's still kind of a mess. But you know, at least we know what the hell it is. But yeah, even back then was, you know, it was. I think it was just a fucking bad cold, you know. But um, so, but that I was thinking about that. Like, why is that important? And I was thinking it's important because you know maybe there's some things that weren't being told the truth, kind of shit. You know, maybe they're hiding something. I don't know, but you know, those little details are fucking important. You know, and
Oh, exactly.
you know we can't avoid those.
Yep. It's one of those things where have you heard this thing that they're talking about maybe having like uh, immunity cards
Dude, I heard about that. Yeah,
where they can say whether you've been immunized, you've got
you got your
vaccine,
vaccines and
or you've had it before and you've created your own antibodies.
right.
But they're like talking about giving you some papers all over that. Now, I think that's crazy
That's fucking
authoritarian,
nuts,
but I absolutely think that's crazy.
man.
You know, are you gonna do the same for the flu? Because a lot of people die from the flu every year. You
Yeah,
don't realize that in this country, a lot of people die from the flu every year.
right.
You know,
Yeah, no, it's almost crazy to think that, man. That's I mean that's kind of it would make sense. It's fucked up. It's like World War II shit. You know,
yep,
um,
yep.
you know, this reminds me of the fucking armbands, dude, in fucking Germany.
Oh,
You
exactly,
know,
exactly right.
fuck. Now I don't know, man.
So,
It could come down to that, and yeah, we just don't fucking know. Like I said in my last episode, I think this week and next week's kind of trivial. I think more so for a boost of morale at least, because we're gonna be
exactly.
getting those checks, you know, and well, the fucking checks. Is it the Heroes Act?
The CARES Act.
Well, no. Oh, so we got the CARES Act, and that is the stimulus plus the unemployment. But what's this shit about the with the essentials and them giving them a little bit of boost?
I've heard some rumors about it. What I've heard is that they're talking about giving essential workers that have worked the entire time through the coronavirus, like a $13 an hour, 13.50 dollars, something shit like that, raise until the end of the year or until it's like 25 grand.
Right, that's what it was. Yeah,
Yeah. So
man,
like I say,
where's all
it's
this
a little funky. Yeah.
where's all this money coming from, dude? Fuck.
They're printing it. They're just printing it. And as far as it goes, you know, I'm not, I know you're not political on your deal, but it's one of those things where, you know, where this originated,
Yeah,
is it was kind of covered up apparently, you know.
yeah.
So
No, I've been actually kind of paying more attention to that because I don't know they do make some good arguments about that.
and that's both sides of the U.S. government that
Yeah,
both parties that are saying that it was pretty much covered up in the beginning and could have been, like 90% halted if they had just actually been truthful about it.
right.
So, I mean, like we would not have any problem here ever, if they were just truthful where it started and stuff, whatnot. And that's anywhere that a pandemic starts.
Yeah,
It's not just, uh, uh, like Asian countries or whatnot. It's ultimately where anywhere that a pandemic starts needs to be actually taken serious after this, and I believe it will.
yeah. You been hearing some of this shit about the World Health Organization kind of letting China kiss their ass?
Well, I think it's one of those things where there's been quite a bit of criticism. Criticism. Uh, they've been criticized pretty well on. Sorry, I've been
Oh, it's
having a
all
beer
good.
here. They've been criticized a lot this last week over a couple interviews that World Health Organization officials have made, and over the fact that early on they said, China said that the it was not communicable between human to humans,
Right.
and that was wrong. And the World Health Organization, puppeted that type of narrative or whatever.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so it's one of those for me. I think that Americans need to place more faith in our homegrown institutions such as the CDC.
Yeah.
And when they say something like there's a pandemic starting somewhere around the world, that you know we should pay heed a little bit more to what they're saying.
Well, I think this is gonna help for sure. Fuck. I mean,
Well, like I say, California has already extended out their quarantine till May 15th.
oh really? Yeah, that's. I
Yep.
think I was reading something about that.
So at that point,
Yeah.
that's extended. Obviously, we're gonna get more of Kevin Smith live streams, which I love. And now,
Yeah.
okay, here you go. Current event right here, buddy. Current event would happen to be on April 20th, 2020. Kevin Smith is going to do a watch along of Mallrats on his YouTube channel. Okay, so he's
Interesting.
gonna live stream, and he's gonna say, "Okay, queue up your DVDs."
Uh huh.
Everybody's gonna queue up their DVDs separately and be able to watch Mallrats with Kevin Smith.
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
It's amazing, dude. I cannot wait for this. My birthday is the day before, and this will be totally my birthday present.
Yeah,
Is
that's
watching
right. Your birthday's coming up. What?
fucking Kevin Smith. I'm on the 19th,
Yeah, that's
so
right,
the day after, we're gonna watch this watch along, and I'm gonna love that shit. I'm not
dude.
gonna lie. Yeah,
I mean, fucking. At least we have those kinds of options. You know. I mean, the whole live stream and stuff. I mean, fuck. If we didn't have that, man, this would fucking suck. The
agreed,
technology
agreed.
we have right now, shit. Um, no, those little things, man, really get us through. Fucking, it's the little things. Um, I'm kind of at that point now where, like being at work and doing all that seems kind of foreign, you know.
Oh,
Um,
exactly,
just kind of
exactly.
just kind of adapting. Um, but no, you hear the governor saying, fucking May 4th, this and that. That's not the last of it, dude. That's gonna be extended. The next one's gonna be extended. That's how it goes, man. I mean, we're in this for a while.
Yeah, we don't know. It's ultimately it could be that way, or they say that Washington State's doing pretty well above the other states as far as their curve, our curve. Washington State. So
They did send back one of those makeshift hospitals, which is, I guess, a good sign.
it is exactly a good sign.
Yeah,
So at that point, if we can get past this a little bit, and ultimately, if the economy opens up, but everybody maintains social distancing within the economy, no problem.
right.
I mean, everybody don't have to get ultimately all together. I mean, baseball games are going to be weird. Football games and basketball games, they're going to be weird. Sit in the seat apart from your, next fan. But that's, ultimately, I don't think anybody's going to want to crowd into a movie theater
Right.
right away. But ultimately, I think personally, the economy will go on. I think that uh, when they do open it, as long as we still maintain what we've been doing all at Walmart,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
shit, I mean, I think we'll be okay. You know,
Yeah.
everybody washes their hands and everybody just be fine. I think the economy will grow on and everybody will gain some sort of immunity to this stuff.
Yeah. No, I agree. And kind of the way I'm seeing it is, the whole vaccination with like the measles and chicken pox and shit. We get that as a kid. We get those vaccines, and I think just this is just gonna be added to the list. And um, I'm sure back then they were kind of dealing with the same shit. We need a vaccination for this measles bullshit. Um, yeah, it's just kind of the same thing, dude. And um, but ultimately, vaccine is the end result.
Right, exactly.
You know. Um,
That's what's going to solve this whole deal.
yeah, I guess just until then, just strap in and make yourself comfortable. And it's like I said, it's the little things that kind of get you through. Um,
Yeah, like I say, I'm watching old baseball games.
yeah,
That's mainly where I'm at.
yeah.
Watching old baseball games.
I'm happy I had the time to like kind of do the podcast and stuff, and um, yeah, kind of get back to the shit that you were neglecting. Um, like my house has never been cleaner.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to do. But yeah, no, it's. I've been kind of avoiding watching those press conferences. They're kind of the same thing. Um, I don't think nothing new, significantly new, has been arising, but it's still good to keep up on it. You don't have to sit there and listen to the whole thing, but um, yeah, I would say just keep up with it. Just understand what's going on. Um, this is somewhat poetic, so we want to kind of pay a little bit more attention to it.
Oh,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, so that's what I've been doing. Let's see. Well,
Uh, have you been keeping up on SpaceX at all?
I was going to talk to you about that. Now, you've been really interested in kind of the space exploration industry, and that's pretty cool. I don't know too much about it, to be honest with you. It does sound really interesting. Um, let's see. Why don't you go ahead and kind of discuss on what SpaceX is? I know it has a lot
Well,
to do with Elon Musk and all that. So why don't you go ahead and
like I said, Elon Musk, he started off doing. He was, I believe, a co-founder of PayPal,
PayPal, right?
and he went on to building. He wanted to build electric cars, and he founded Tesla
Right.
cars. And then now SpaceX is he wanted to spend some money and send a greenhouse to Mars.
Right.
And he basically just wanted pictures of this greenhouse on Mars. And he went to the providing the people who could provide a proper rocket to do that, and it was pretty much the Russians at the time. He he said they wanted way too much money to send his rocket to Mars, so he decided to build his own.
Right.
And through trials and tribulations, he ultimately built a rocket that was an orbital class rocket. And as soon as it got to orbit, he stopped building it. He then he started to manufacture, well, I guess he started to design and manufacture the Falcon 9 rocket. Now, the Falcon 9 rocket is an amazing piece of machinery in the fact that it is an orbital class booster that can launch a second stage and payload up into space, and then the booster can come back down and land itself,
It's fucking insane.
saving a bunch of money. Up to this time, they have flown up to four boosters in a row, like it's the same booster 4 times in a row, and landed it. Okay. So at that point, they go through and they'll look through it and make sure it's all functional, and they will refill it. They will stick a second stage on it and the payload, and then they will launch it again to space. It's very cost efficient.
This all started in 2010, wasn't it? Around there.
Well, somewhere in there, I believe, in
Mm-hmm.
2008, I think was their first landing of a booster. I could be wrong on that. I think that was testing when they
Right.
landed a booster.
Okay, that's right.
Um,
Yeah.
now, the next plan for SpaceX is to spend a bunch of time developing a rocket that can be rapidly reusable, like an aeroplane,
Uh huh.
and send rockets to Mars. Now, this thing will be a fully reusable rocket. The booster will loft the Starship, is what they're calling it, the ship that will carry 100 people at a time into orbit. And then
Shit.
the booster will come back down to Earth, land on its launch clamps where it launched from with the Starship. It will land there. A crane will attach a cargo variant that is full of fuel. It will attach it to the super heavy booster. It will launch again. It will then rendezvous in space. The cargo variant
Uh huh.
will rendezvous with the first Starship that was launched in space. than do something that has not been done yet and has not been proven to be done at all yet. They're talking about rendezvousing the cargo variant with the Starship, docking it, and having it refuel the Starship. The cargo variant will then undock and go back to Earth, land back at its landing zone,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Starship will have enough fuel to launch itself to Mars.
Wow. Yeah,
And
that's
it's absolutely amazing. They are developing the rocket right now. It's the amount of the sheer pace of what they are developing is that they are destroying a prototype every 2 weeks trying to get this thing to work properly.
right.
And the last um, the last destructive test they had was not because the prototype, the fuel tank section that they're using, that they're calling SN3, serial number three, they're it was a faulty test configuration
Mm-hmm.
and not a structural failure in the prototype. So they are rapidly building what they call SN4 or serial number four, and they, I believe, will be testing that within a week and a half
Now,
to
when this
see.
started, NASA was kind of skeptical, right? I mean, this was kind of something in their backyard, wasn't it?
Well, see, NASA is funded by Congress
Right.
and the United States government. So the thing about with NASA is they've got small budgets they have to deal within, and so they have to plan things out far in the future to make sure they can meet their deadlines in within their small budgets. And even then, um, if Congress changes too much and people have differing opinions,
Mm-hmm.
then sometimes they get canceled.
Right.
So the thing about SpaceX now is the fact that they got paid from NASA to deliver cargo to the International Space Station on what they were calling Cargo Dragon 1 or Dragon 1.
Oh, okay.
And they've been delivering cargo to the International Space Station over the last 8 years. They ultimately got a contract for the crew missions to the International Space Station, and they got given a whole bunch of money to develop their capsule, which is a capsule and a trunk module that houses all of the life support, um, external cargo that does not need to be pressurized, and it it ultimately is it's slated to launch actual Americans from American soil in about May 22nd. Is what they're projecting. This is extremely fluid at this point, but they in the month of May they are projecting that SpaceX will send humans into space and to the International Space Station, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome, dude. Where's Elon Musk's car right now?
It's probably I'm not entirely sure. It's been a couple of years, so
Mm-hmm.
it's got kind of an elongated orbit.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where it was launched and would have, I think, rendezvoused with Mars, but not ultimately had any rockets to slow it down to orbit Mars, obviously.
Guy's
So
fucking brilliant. He's gonna send his car in space, dude.
exactly,
It's
dude.
fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
it's nuts.
That's some pretty interesting stuff. Let's see. That's kind of one thing I was kind of intrigued by. Didn't NASA eventually kind of praise Elon Musk on this?
Yes, ultimately, Boeing ultimately got a contract as well as SpaceX to do commercial transport for putting people on the International Space Station,
Right.
and unfortunately, their variant had quite a bunch of problems
Oh
on
yeah,
its first test
that's
and
what I've been hearing.
was not able to even make it to the International Space Station. So, like I say, SpaceX is looking like they're going to be uh, the only game in town for at least a year, if not a year and a half,
Yeah,
as far as delivering Americans into space.
right. No, either way, it's some pretty interesting stuff. No, I've been trying to keep up with it myself. But let's see. Yeah, I'd like to have you on some more frequently on the kind of some updates and kind of let us know what's going on with that. I think it makes for awesome discussion. I think you know quite a bit on that. Um, but either way, it's fucking interesting. I mean,
Nope, for
once I
sure.
caught wind that some guy's sending his fucking car up in space, I'm like, hell yeah, this is something to pay attention to, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. You know, SpaceX is well, Elon Musk is he's trying to revolutionize many things on this planet so
Oh
that
yeah,
they're just way more efficient, way cheaper to make, and ultimately better. And that's the key word, better.
he definitely knows something we don't, man. It's definitely some guy to really pay attention to.
Oh
Fucking
man, if
fucking
I could meet
pioneer,
him,
dude.
if I could meet him, it would be amazing. You know, there would be so many questions
Oh
that
yeah.
I could ask him that I could just talk to him for hours. I mean, uh, you got questions today, don't you? I mean, as far as you run the random questions on your show.
Yeah, dude. Let's see. The question jar. Kind of just some
Yeah.
questions and just some random ideas I've been having. I threw them in this jar and just.
Well, I got a bonus for you today. We should read a random question,
Okay.
and then I have a question for you
Okay.
after. All right.
That sounds good. Well, this segment we have is the question jar. I'm just
Oh
going
yeah.
to randomly pull out one of these questions here, and we'll see what we got. So, episode number seven's question. All right. What do we got? What do you credit the biggest success in your life to? And how about your largest failures? I was thinking about that. I wrote that down and I was thinking if I can credit, anything about my life, I think it'd be, um, I think the fact that I'm still alive, dude, fucking
Yeah. Oh yeah.
fact that, like, especially like going down like the music road, man, and um, how much fun we had and all the partying and whatnot, dude. And um, the fumes that you take home with you, as far as like the stress and like the depression of like what comes with a band and whatnot. Um, the fact that you're still alive and you're still you didn't really succumb to the bad parts of it. To me, I give that a lot of credit, and I'm pretty excited to I guess kind of tell my kids what I've when I do have kids, kind of what I've been through. Um, as far as my biggest failures, I think when it comes down to it, for me, when I think about my biggest failures, um, I would hope to say that I didn't know any better, you know. Um, and if it's something I failed at, I think I would like to say it's because I didn't know what my potential was or um, anything like that, So
Yeah. I agree with that.
let's
Um.
see. But yeah, who's ever listening, you guys want to kind of give your comment? Uh, let's see, whatever network or whatever site we're on. We're on YouTube, Facebook, SoundCloud. Yeah, go ahead and leave a comment. What do you credit the biggest success in your life to, and how about your largest failures?
Deal. I'll tell you what mine were.
Yeah.
Mine happened to be when we were playing in a band, and I feel like my biggest successes were because, like, when we were playing the three piece, it comes to the point where all three pieces are striving for the same thing, the same
Right.
idea, the same notion, and my, it's I've never felt greater than the time that we achieved greatness together.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's
And
It's a
My
brotherhood, you know.
biggest failure is when I got a big head about it. When an individual gets a big head about, uh, you know, about what they've got versus the others, that's
Right.
when my biggest failures happen.
And it's so common, you know. It's one of those things that kind of comes with the territory, and um, but you could either like let it eat you up, or you can learn from it. Um,
Yeah,
but you know, sometimes you don't know any better, and you just kind of you gotta have to kind of like learn as you go. Um, so yeah, no, that's a great way to see it. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. All right, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
If you had a time machine, what would you go back and change?
Oh man, I tell you what. Um, damn good question. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that. Um, I'd like to say that I wouldn't want to change anything about my music road that I took. When it comes to the music stuff, I'd want to go back to, I guess, some areas and I guess give it more effort. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
I think a big part of that is going back to even like when I was learning to play guitar and bass guitar and stuff. And I think if there is a way to go back and like kind of kick myself in the ass more and tell myself, no, you are supposed to do 3 hours of practicing, not 30 minutes,
Oh,
or
yeah,
things like
uh-huh.
that.
I know that.
You know, so I think if I can go back to one certain time, probably when I was maybe like 18 or something, um, and I would tell myself that you know what, you're doing great, but you're not doing good enough.
Hmm.
So you got 2.5 hours more of practice. Don't
That,
stop. So I think that would be my destination right there.
all right.
How about you?
Oh, I do some other stuff. I would change a few things about my life personally, but I tell you what, two motherfuckers that would still be on this planet would have to be John Bonham, the drummer
Oh yeah,
from Led Zeppelin, and Chris Farley.
man. I was just watching the making of Tommy Boy. Even that, just that, it was like a half-hour documentary, and that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. All
Just
right.
just the making of it was fucking
That came
hilarious.
across my feed and I haven't watched it yet. So
Yeah,
that recommendation says that's what I'm doing after this.
but, John
Yeah.
John Bonham. Yeah, I mean like, uh, I
Well,
don't.
he's my favorite drummer. Ultimately, I'm a little biased towards my favorite drummer. It could be, Kurt Cobain. It could be Jimi Hendrix,
Right.
Jim Morrison. It could be Jim Morrison, or I'm just saying, yeah. Uh, I'm a little biased because he's my favorite drummer, and Chris Farley is my favorite actor of all time.
I tell you what, like one big thing I'm really drawn to as far as like musicians and bands is their history and their legacy and shit that they've done, what they've been through. Um, I don't know, man. I think Led Zeppelin tops it, dude. I mean, how what they've been through, what they did, fucking the fact that they didn't go back and continue on after John
Right?
Bonham. Um,
That sends a very bold statement
yeah.
to the world. You know.
Oh, absolutely. Um, but no, yeah, that's a good couple of role models right there. I mean, as far as their influence on art and shit like that, and I would say John Bonham and Chris Farley definitely big guys to give that credit to.
And ultimately, I'm not gonna lie. I would definitely go to the Middle Ages,
Yeah.
and I would introduce those people to pasteurization.
Whoa, that's
I mean,
fucking
you can
cool.
imagine you can jumpstart civilization a couple here 100 years in a row,
Yeah.
like early, a couple hundred years early, if you fucking
Shit.
introduce the Middle Ages to pasteurization.
Kind of like, okay, you guys are coming with me. I'm gonna drop you
Yeah,
off somewhere.
we're gonna do this now.
Oh man, I could see that kind of like a Bill and Ted's kind of deal or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
That'd be so hilarious. You're like kicking ass, and I would say like right before they're about to go, about to pass away, be like, okay, so you did this here. We're gonna go back a little ways. We're gonna have you restart. Oh man. No, that's a cool way to look at it. I might see do some meditating on that. That'd be kind of cool.
Like I say, I love thinking about if I had a time machine. It's one of my favorite things to think about.
Yeah. Now, would you always go back in time? Let's say in your lifetime, would you go back and would you keep the same knowledge? Would you want to be influenced that way, or would you just kind of want to start over?
No, if I had a time machine, I'm not gonna beat around the bush.
Yeah.
If I had my knowledge, I would go back to about 1969
Yeah.
and I'd fucking write rock music with my knowledge.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I
no.
would totally fuck up everything, but it would be awesome.
Sure have a good time doing it, that's for sure. I've
Oh
always
yeah.
did
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it is about Woodstock, but the whole idea and just like seeing the footage and the whole story of how it started, I can't get my mind off that sometimes. Like the whole fucking Woodstock story.
I agree. I
I'm so
agree.
fascinated with it.
I agree.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Um, there's a lot of events I'm fascinated with. A lot of the '70s stuff.
A lot of the '70s stuff for me too.
Yeah,
If I had a time machine, I would go back and watch a Saturn V rocket launch.
yeah, that'd be badass.
Ultimately, the guys that go into the moon, they said that you could be miles away from that rocket, and when it launched, it would rattle you to your core.
Shit.
There was nothing you could do to you just to feel the amount of pressure and the pure power of
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it'd be pretty badass. Yeah, no, you've always been kind of a history buff yourself, haven't you?
Yes. In my later life,
Yeah.
I didn't really pay attention much in early parts of school, which I really wish I had because um, the history that I learned, I really wish I had paid more attention to.
I think my history interest really started with music. Like started um, with the shit coming out of the '60s, and once I started having an appreciation for like classic rock music and stuff, then I started thinking about the origin and all that shit coming out of the '60s, dude. Like fucking, wouldn't that be so badass to like actually be able to sit down and just watch fucking the first time Tony Iommi and fucking Ozzy Osbourne met for the first time? Just sit there
No,
and fucking
exactly,
watch.
exactly. To be like interject myself into like as a sound man and be like sit in as sound man for the first Led Zeppelin jam. Like it's exactly
Man,
what I was thinking. Yeah,
yeah,
no, exactly.
yeah, that'd be fucking intense.
It would be so fucking stupid. I would love it so much. You know what?
Oh man.
If the time machine wasn't available, it's only a matter of time before you would get your experience, and there'd be some other asshole trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, right. Oh man, oh
Like,
shit.
I know you're from a different time, asshole. You better piss off.
I've been seeing you around here a lot, bud. What's your angle here?
Yeah, what's your angle? That's good.
Oh man. Well, I'd say we're coming up here to about an hour here, man. I had a good time talking with you.
Oh, it's been a great time, brother. I not, it's a good thing. It's a good thing we did this.
Yeah, man.
It was needed.
Like I said,
I
I want to have you on more frequently and kind of keep us updated with the SpaceX stuff.
Like I
Um,
say, it's a good thing because with the quarantine, I've been losing my mind. I only hang out with a 2-year-old, so it's one of those where my
yeah,
mind's kind of going to mush sometimes unless you talk to actual adults.
yeah,
You know.
definitely, man. I wonder what it's gonna be like to be back at the bar and talking to all your old bar buddies and be like, fuck.
Man, it's gonna be nuts. I can't wait. I'm just glad I went to the bar here when I moved over here to Spokane. I'm glad I went to the bar right before
Oh
all
yeah,
this coronavirus stuff
yeah,
started. So I actually did go to the bar and have a couple of beers with some normal people.
man. It's so
You know,
weird seeing them like board up all the bars in town, dude. Have you been
it's
seeing that in Spokane?
I've not been really downtown, but because I'm in sheltering, I go to
Right.
Walmart once a week, so
Yeah,
make sure I got my groceries. But
yeah, here in Wenatchee, man, like seeing Wally's and like Joe's Log Cabin, man, seeing that shit all boarded up.
they're boarded up. That's crazy. I
Fuck,
didn't know that.
fucking surreal, dude. It's
Yeah,
fucking
that
times
would
we're
be
in.
weird.
Yeah, like I said, I want to have Mike on more frequently. Fuck me, I'm thinking once a week, kind of go over some SpaceX stuff and kind of just touch base on what's going on. So,
I would absolutely love it.
all right. Well, thanks you guys for tuning in. Inside Delirium is on YouTube, Facebook, SoundCloud, and Anchor.fm. Gonna have a couple new episodes here in a few days. Check out our Facebook page. Like I said, I want to keep having Mike Hendrix on. I want to try and get Detested Corn on. Um, let's see, Mike. I was thinking about having Justin Shea on one point. Maybe do like a 3-person phone call or something.
That would be absolutely cool.
That'd be awesome.
We could do some play with fire stories and yeah, talk about some of our trials and tribulations.
Hell yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah,
All right. Well, you guys stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks again, Mike. I really appreciate you being here, dude.
absolutely love being here, brother. You be safe now.
All right. All right. We're going to see you guys in the next installment. This is episode number 7 with Mike Hendricks. We'll see you guys later on.
Yeah, peace.